Hey everybody, it's Silver Seeker, and today we're going to be reading and responding to some of the comments that you guys have left on my channel over the last couple of weeks. So I scoured through all the comments on my channel over the last few weeks, and I picked out a few, and I'm going to be posting them on this video, and we're going to be reading them and responding to them right now. And I don't want to make you wait too long, but I will say that some of these comments are controversial. Some of my opinions may be controversial as well, but keep in mind, it's all just opinion, and it's all for civil discussion, and that's the end of it. So thank you so much for leaving all the comments down below, guys. And really quick, before we get over there, if you're new to the channel and you haven't done so yet, don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss my future videos, and don't forget to click the bell as well. Let's go. Okay guys, so I have 9 comments queued up on my stream deck and we are ready to go. So let's pull up the first one. Again, some of these are going to be slightly controversial. I will do my best to respond to them with my opinion and my opinion alone. And if you don't agree with that, I apologize. Feel free to leave a comment down below. I would love to hear your thoughts, but here we go. First one comes from James. Now, I don't know why this one was posted on a Silver Mercury Dimes video. Maybe just because, you know, I was going through Mercury Dimes and they happen to be silver. But James says, silver spot is dropping. Might as well be stacking cow patties. Hedge against inflation? I think not. Investment? Nope. The most disappointing aspect to ounce silver coins is that you can't even buy a soda with one at a vending machine. Silver is simply too plentiful. Well, not being able to buy a soda at a vending machine with an ounce of silver has nothing to do with how plentiful silver is. I mean, obviously the value is much greater than the soda, so it's just the fact that it doesn't fit into the machine and slash the machine doesn't recognize it. But let's get into the actual part of the question here. So a hedge against inflation, he thinks not. I disagree. In 1964, a silver quarter had less buying power than it does today. So a silver quarter from 1964 can buy you more stuff today than it could back then. That is a perfect hedge against inflation, and it's been that way for decades. I mean, silver, you know, going back, you know, centuries and even millennia, if you want to look at it being used as currency, you know, for basically all time. How is that not a hedge against inflation? How is something that is worth more now than it was in 64, even if it's not an astronomical ton? It's not like back then you could buy 1 gallon, today you can buy 50. My point is how is it not a hedge against inflation when it has even more buying power today than it did back then? You know, same goes for gold. You know, back in the 60s, you could use a $20 gold piece to buy a good suit. You can do the same with a $20 gold piece today. Now he says investment, nope. Sure. I don't argue that silver's an investment. I haven't argued that silver's an investment on this channel pretty much at all. I maybe once or twice brought it up from an investment standpoint, but for the majority of it, I've always talked about it as a hedge against inflation or a store of wealth. And, you know, so I can't even argue with you on that because I don't argue that it's an investment. It is absolutely not going to make you rich. I don't believe that we're gonna wake up tomorrow and silver's gonna be $100 an ounce. I know a lot of people do, and that's fine. I don't. That doesn't mean that my opinion is wrong or that the people that think it's going to be $100 tomorrow is wrong. It's just that's what I believe. You know, but I do absolutely believe in having silver and gold as a way to protect what you currently have and keep it out of the fiat system. I mean, let's look at, you know, the national debt. Let's look at the trillions of dollars that are being spent on stimulus right now, which are coming out of nowhere. $2.1 trillion bill just passed, another $3 trillion one, you know, being brewed up right now. That's supposed to come from raising taxes massively for sure. I mean, you know, how does that not lead to inflation? I mean, it doesn't take an economist to look at that and be like, oh, that's totally fine. We're sitting in the middle of the fire. This is fine. This is fine. But, you know, that's what I believe, James. And if you don't believe in silver, that's totally fine. This is probably not the right channel for you. But it's okay that you don't believe in it. I don't have a problem with that. I'm just here to tell you what I think, give you my opinion, and you do with it what you want. I certainly don't tell anyone to, you know, go base their life savings off of what I've said in a video. Okay, the second one comes from Bob Smith. This was on the Silver Horde video that I released a few days back, and he goes, yeah, it was really hidden behind walls in the house. Thousands of nickels, dimes, and quarters for my family to live on. I guess till the year 2150 he meant. Hidden in walls, but very heavily circulated. So obviously Bob's being sarcastic here, and he's questioning this actually being a hoard that was hidden by the family because they were heavily circulated. Guys, if you don't know what hordes are like, now keep in mind, this isn't a Binion horde. This isn't, you know, a multi-millionaire Vegas guy who's pulling out uncirculated silver dollars and putting them in a vault in the middle of the desert. No. This is your average mom and pop family that believes in silver. So, you know, in the 60s when we went off the silver standard, They didn't believe that we should go off the silver standard. They believe in silver and gold as currency, like it says, right there. And they would pull these things out of circulation. So if they were pulling these out in the 60s, let's say 1964, 5, 6, they started pulling out the silver, putting it aside. Walking Liberty half dollars stopped being produced in the late 40s. So these things that had a decade and a half at very minimum, and usually for most states, over 2 decades, even 3 decades of circulation before people started pulling these out and hoarding them. So of course they're going to be heavily circulated. That's exactly the point. And we didn't expect to find anything good. We were hoping to fill some holes in the book. We did find some really cool upgrades, some nicer ones, but of course they're going to be circulated. That's what most of these hordes are. Yes. In fact, if they were all brand new uncirculated ones, it would be more of a coin collector horde, not a average silver horde from your average mom and pop, pulling silver out of circulation. So yes, it was a horde. I saw pictures of it myself. I was being sent pictures and talked to about this for a couple of weeks leading up to it actually coming out and me being able to buy some. Yes, it was absolutely 100%. I'm telling you, from all the pictures I've seen, from everyone that I've talked to about it, Penny Dog, NCF, etc. Yes, it really was. All right, so number 3. We have absolute gravity. Now, this was a comment left after our live coin chat with Yankee Stacking and, of course, Raven and Rob and myself. And he goes, Bitcoin is, and he's quoting, by the way, this is what Yankee said. He goes, Bitcoin is not a scam, but the pyramid scheme where one tried to find another fool to sell it. So worded a little bit wrong there, but I know what he meant. And he goes, wow, really? He doesn't even understand that people are buying Bitcoin to be able to keep wealth out of this system. Same as with gold and silver. No one is selling, everyone is holding, unless useless clowns talking BS. So let's dig into this one, because this is going to be one of the more controversial ones, especially with what I'm about to say. I've said before, and I'll say it again, I don't believe in Bitcoin as a store of wealth or a hedge against inflation. I believe in Bitcoin as a fantastic way to make money, and there are tons of Bitcoin millionaires out there that have made a ton of money on Bitcoin, and that's awesome. Congratulations to them. I do believe that eventually it will come crashing. Whether it goes all the way to zero or not, I don't believe it probably will go all the way to zero, because, I'm sure that as it gets low, back, under 20, that people will start buying it up again with the intent of seeing it ride again all the way up to 60, 70. Who knows? Maybe it even hit $100,000 per coin. I own a little bit of Bitcoin. I would love to see that happen. If Bitcoin hit $100,000, I promise you I would sell every little bit of it I had and put it back into gold and silver as a way to hedge the wealth. And then if it goes down again, maybe I'll buy more and hope that it rides back up. We'll have to see what happens. But at the end of the day, you got to remember that no, not everybody putting money into Bitcoin is to get wealth out of the system. No, I didn't. And a lot of other people didn't either. A lot of people putting money into Bitcoin is because they believe it's going to make them more money. Yes, there are people that do put it in there to get their wealth out of the system, but the majority of people that are buying it right now, especially with speculation and, let's look at what Tesla did. Elon Musk buys like $1.5 billion worth and then starts tweeting about it. It skyrockets. People buy in, they FOMO in, they're afraid that they're going to miss their opportunity to become the next Bitcoin millionaire, and so they're throwing their money into it, hoping that they can be another one of those Bitcoin millionaires. It happens all the time. It's happened in other things besides Bitcoin, so I 100% see where Yankee is coming from. Now, I'm not saying that he's right, and I'm not saying I'm right, and I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying that it is not everyone putting money into it to get the wealth out of the system. There's a lot of people in there trying to make their own wealth, trying to become the next millionaire. No one wants to wake. I don't care if you're putting money into Bitcoin because you think it's a store of wealth or not. No one wants to wake up, having Bitcoin at 60,000 one day and 20,000 the next day without having sold. So yes, there is eventually going to be a domino effect of people selling and lowering the price. I'm not saying it's going away. I'm not saying it's going to disappear. And of course, like I said, I own Bitcoin. I actually own more than Bitcoin. I own a little bit of ADA or Cardano. I own a little bit of Ethereum. I own a little bit of Doge because Doge is just funny and it didn't cost much money to get into it. But, my point is that Yankee's not wrong. It's just that he may not be 100% right either. We'll have to see what happens. But I would much rather have my money into something that's been, used as a store of wealth for millennia, and that's gold and silver. So that's my opinion, and my opinion alone, and I'm sure I'm going to get slammed in the comments by Bitcoin loyalists. I see it all the time, by the way, where they like literally they go irate, like they get on these crazy comments ripping into me about how Bitcoin is this and Bitcoin is that. Look, if you believe in Bitcoin as much as you say you do, then you probably should not worry about what I have to say. Just keep buying more. Seriously, if you believe in it that much, just buy more. Don't worry about what others are saying, just as long as you believe in it. But if you're really that self-conscious about other people's opinions, then maybe you don't believe in it as much as you think you do. See, people rip on gold and silver all the time. It doesn't faze me because I believe in gold and silver. If I believed in Bitcoin and I was putting all my money into Bitcoin and people were ripping on Bitcoin, I wouldn't care because I believe in it. Just like I believe in gold and silver. All the people that rip into gold and silver, fine. That's totally fine. You have the right to that opinion. I disagree. And so I'm not going to get irate and blow up on people blah, just because they don't believe as well. Anyway, there you go. That's a very controversial opinion coming from Silver Seeker. Here we go, number 4. Okay, so the fourth one here, guys, this one comes from William, and it's on my worst mystery bag ever from eBay. And he says, why do you keep supporting these idiots? Well, two things. One, I've never ordered the same mystery bag from the same seller. It's always been from new sellers. Two, and so I'd not keep supporting. I mean, I guess I'm supporting each one. But two, this video specifically has been seen by over 5,000 people. And I've seen multiple comments. One specifically that said they were going to buy this exact mystery bag and now they aren't. Other people saying that they were thinking about buying mystery bags off of eBay and now they won't. And that is why I do it. If I even saved one person from buying it, then there's no support there because my sale would have been their sale. If I saved 2 or 3 people from buying it, then it's anti-support because my one sale kept 2 or 3 people from supporting them. So I don't consider that support. I mean, obviously this was a horrible mystery bag, and you know, the company actually reached out to me and talked to me about it a little bit and offered me a refund. Of course, I turned it down because when I bought this mystery bag, I went into it knowing that it wasn't going to be what I paid for. I went into it knowing that I was taking a risk of getting a horrible bag, and that's exactly what happened. I'm not going to return it because I already knew. Like, it'd be one thing if I ordered something that was specific. Let's say I ordered an uncirculated Morgan and I got a circulated one. That's different because it was advertised as something different. This was advertised as a mystery bag. I didn't know exactly what I was going to get. They gave you a little bit of an idea of what the inside of one might look like, but you never really know because it's a mystery pack. And I knew that I was taking a risk. So that's my risk and that's on me. And that's the end of it. And again, if I prevented 3 or 4 people from buying these, then I did well anyway. So well worth doing the video. All right, so number 5, this one is on top 5 stacking questions for you. And if you haven't seen this video yet, I definitely recommend you go watch it. Probably one of the most important videos I've done about silver stacking. This one comes from LL, and this is really a question more than anything controversial or a comment or anything. He goes, the local dealer I buy from explained to me that the amount they buy it back from me when the price finally goes up is dependent on how many other people are selling theirs back to them. I get it, but I'm wondering, how can I double the amount I spent on it? Say the value doubles on the 25-ounce press I bought and it goes to 50. It sounds like my dealer won't pay me 50 an ounce for it in the seller's market. How will I ever be able to buy to double my investment? Maybe you could show us newbies, or maybe you could do a show that helps us newbies understand how to play this game. Thanks. Okay, listen up, LL. First, this is not a game. Investing in silver is not the game at all because it's not really an investment. It's a way to protect your money. It's a hedge against inflation. It's a way to put your wealth into something that's not tied to the fiat system, to those $20 bills that you have in your wallet, that the value, if we ever go through a major inflationary period, is going to be worth a lot more tomorrow than it is today. But even by design, is designed to go through inflation and lose value over time. So if you're looking at it from that standpoint, you're really not getting into silver for the right reasons. So we'll just go with that. But let's say that silver does go to $50 an ounce. Silver goes to $50 an ounce. There's still going to be people buying it. Now, you could, of course, sell it on your own. You could go to your shop and sell it. Maybe they're paying a couple of dollars back from a couple of dollars lower than what spot price is. But keep in mind, they're there to be a business. They're not going to offer you something so low. Well, likely. I mean, there's a couple of people that might think they can take advantage of you. But if you're smart enough to shop around and find the best price, you're not going to get less than, a couple of dollars back of spot. So even if it goes to 50, you're probably going to get 48 in a really weak market. But I believe at $50 an ounce, which I think silver could definitely get to 50. You know, I argue against 100 all the time, but 50 is something I absolutely think can happen again. I don't think you're going to have much trouble selling it for, you know, you're not going to sell it for 25. You're going to sell it for like 47, 48. Maybe it'll be a really strong market with a lot of buyers and you'll be able to get full spot or more for it. So I wouldn't really worry about it on that point, but keep in mind that if you're doing it as an investment, if you're doing it as a way to make money on the short term, as a way to turn your $25 into 50, then I'll be honest with you, LL, you're really in it for the wrong reasons. And you should probably watch that video again and some of the other videos on my channel. But anyway, that's my opinion, of course. All right, so here we go. Number 6, Dave West. This is on my fake Silver Eagle video. Now, this video is an older video, but it's been getting a lot of comments and views lately. He goes, why would anyone try to make a fake Silver Eagle? They aren't worth jack as it is. Too much trouble. The Gold Eagles, I can see them doing this. Here's the thing, Dave. 2 points, and I actually responded to this, but 2 points, okay? The first one is that Silver Eagles are certainly not worth jack. I mean, they're worth, spot right now is $24.60. At the time I started recording this video, Eagles are going for like +9, +10, +11, +12, +13, depending on where you buy them. If you $30 a coin for something that China can make for less than $1 a piece and ship using their postal system, which is like they get major, let's just say without getting into it, they can ship really, really, really cheap. So they can make these for less than $1. They can ship them over to the US. They can fool people into buying them for, 5, 6, 7, 8 times their money. And then those people will turn around and try, they'll buy them for 5 or 6 a piece. And then, they'll go out and actually try and defraud people and sell them for a full spot plus a premium. They'll say they've been sitting on them. They want to sell them while silver's up, whatever it is. I don't understand how you think that's jack. If you sell a full roll of Silver Eagles, of fake Silver Eagles, to somebody at 25 a piece, that's $500. If you bought them off Wish for $5 a piece, you just made $400. You just made $400 by buying them off of Wish and defrauding somebody. Now, what you did was illegal and wrong, and you should be punched in the face and thrown into jail for doing it. But you certainly cannot say it's not worth doing when they can produce these things as cheap as they produce them over in China, get them over to here as cheap as they want, sell them to a scammer in the US that's going to then turn around and try and scam somebody, is my point. It's certainly not worth jack, or it's certainly worth more than jack, and it's certainly, if you're a scammer looking to profit off of the loss of others and hurt others to make a buck, then I guess it would be worth doing. So there you go. Okay, so number 7 we have from Adam Tracy. He says, total newbie question. If silver hypothetically shot up to $100 an ounce, who would buy it? I'd imagine everyone and their brother would be selling all their silver, and I'd imagine it'd be pretty hard to sell. Mainly pretty hard to find someone to buy it at that price, if that makes sense. I'm really new to this, and I was just wondering. Sorry if it's a dumb question. Adam, it's not a dumb question at all, especially for new stackers. They might be wondering, and they might be looking at silver as what it's worth per dollar, or its dollar value. It's what you can sell it for today, and that's a very, very fair thing for people to look at it for. I know there are some stackers who just hate when people look at how much silver's worth on the dollar scale, but in reality, that's going to be 99% of people, because obviously the dollar is what you need for your everyday transactions, paying your rent, paying your bills, buying your groceries, getting your gas, etc. So I get it. And it's a very good question. So I guess the first thing we need to ask ourselves is, why did it get to $100 an ounce? Did it get to $100 an ounce because we went through a period of strong inflation, or did it get to $100 an ounce because of hype and normal trading? So if it does get to $100 an ounce because of hype and normal trading, then you have a very valid question to ask, because a lot of people will probably want to sell their silver and take some of their profits. Now, if it gets there through economic reasons, that's a big different story. And what I mean by that, and let's just use some fake numbers just to make an example really quick in this video. Let's say that today a dollar's worth $1, and you can buy silver for $10 an ounce. Let's say tomorrow the dollar, we go through inflation, and the dollar is worth 50 cents of what it was worth yesterday. So it's now, your dollar is now worth 50 cents. Well, even though the value or the price of silver didn't really go up at all, the value of silver is now double, not because silver's worth more, but because the dollar's worth less. So it's going to take more dollars to buy the ounce of silver. I think if silver gets to $100 an ounce because of that reason, it's not going to be hard at all to sell, because people will not be wanting to have their money into fiat currency at all anyway. I think in that scenario, people will be wanting to buy more silver and get their money out of fiat. And that's going to make it much easier for you to sell, and it's actually probably going to make it a lot harder to buy. So let's, and the buying power of your silver is going to remain the same. So let's just say, for example, a loaf of bread costs a quarter the day that silver's $10. Well, when silver goes to $20, the loaf of bread is going to cost 50 cents instead of a quarter, but it's still going to be the same amount of silver. So let's say a silver quarter buys a loaf of bread when silver's trading for $10, and then tomorrow the dollar loses half of its value, and now the loaf of bread doubles in price. Well, the silver quarter is still going to buy you the loaf because the silver's still worth what the silver's worth. It's just that the dollar's worth less. The silver still buys you the same amount of stuff it bought you yesterday, but you need more dollars to buy that stuff now because the value of our dollar dropped. Now, it's not going to happen on that fast of a scale. That's just an example, but you get what I mean. In economic stress times, even if it's $100 an ounce because of, economic problems through inflation or whatever, it's going to be harder to get and easier to sell. Whereas if it does moonshot to $100 an ounce through normal trading and through speculation and through hype, it's going to be a lot easier to buy, and it's going to be a lot harder to sell because everyone's going to want to be selling and putting their money back into fiat, I believe. But I could be wrong. We'll have to see what happens when we get there and why we get there because, we don't know. We'll find out when we get there, but I hope that at least helps. So number 8, this comes from Jim Thompson, and this goes back onto the eBay mystery bag, worst ever. I know we're flipping back and forth, but I'm just going through the comments by date order on my channel, not necessarily on each video. But he goes, slightly irritated. Slightly, I'd be so peed. Honestly, I don't know what I would have done, but wow, that sucks big time. So 2 things here, Jim. I mean, I knew going into it that I wasn't going to get the value back out of it. I said that earlier. I was hoping to be a little bit better than it was, but I knew the value wasn't going to be there. I knew I wasn't going to get back what I had invested into it. I knew it was going to be a lot of stuff that might be worth what they say it's worth, but at the same time, it's not going to be anything that's easy to move. So if you go into it knowing that you're probably not going to be satisfied, then you generally don't get as upset as if I would have bought it and someone said, hey, give me $50 and I'll give you $100 in gold. And then I get the bag and it's a gold colored note that has the number 100 written on it with a crayon. You know what I mean? That I'd be mad about. But I knew going into this that I wasn't going to get all of my value back. So that's why I was only slightly irritated, because I was already prepared mentally knowing that that bag was not going to be what I thought it was. So here we go, guys. This is our final one, number 9, and then we'll wrap this video up. This one comes from Off the Beaten Path 360 on why I stack silver, and so should you. He goes, with the silver gold ratio in mind, would you buy 2 ounces of gold or would you get silver with the high premiums right now? I need to know, like, right now. Well, sorry that I didn't respond to this right away, Off the Beaten Path, but the reason I didn't, I do remember seeing this comment, is that I'm not here to make specific financial decisions for you. That's up to you, man. I mean, I give my opinion on what I think silver and gold, what I think about silver and gold, what I think about the markets. But at the end of the day, it's only an opinion, and I don't ever give direct financial advice to tell people what to do with their money. I don't ever get on this channel and say, listen, go buy 2 ounces gold right now, if you have the money. Just go do it. Go buy it. I don't do that. I tell you what my opinion is. I tell you what I think. And then if, and I always tell you to go get other opinions from elsewhere and form your own opinion and make your own decision. So I'm not going to, and the reason I picked this comment specifically is because I want people to understand when you ask me questions like that, like I get questions in Discord from people saying, hey, should I buy this? And they show me a picture of a coin. I don't know. I don't know, because it's not my money. I'm not in your situation. It might be something that I would buy, but you might not be in the position to buy it like I would. So, I might buy it for a certain reason. You might buy it for a different reason. My point is I'm not in your position. I don't know your financial situation. I don't know the reason that you're wanting to buy it. And so I'm not here to make, specific buying decisions for you at all. And I'll never give an answer to the questions like this, because the truth is that I wouldn't want to make that decision for you and then it be the wrong decision in the first place. And of course, what I would do may not be what you should do. So anyway, if you ever leave a question like that and I don't respond to it, that's generally why. So anyway, guys, that is it. I do appreciate you watching the video and being here with me. I hope that you enjoyed it. And I will do these probably once a month. I'll go through, I'll pull some comments, and I'll respond to them in videos like this. So like I said, feel free to leave comments below all my videos if you want me to possibly hit them in one of these videos in the future, if you want me to respond to them. Other than that, guys, I really appreciate you being here, supporting the channel, subscribing, and all that stuff. It really means a lot. And you guys have a fantastic rest of your day. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. I did leave a video above. You can check out if you haven't seen it yet. I also want to give a huge shout out and a huge thank you to my awesome channel supporters scrolling right there on the right hand of the screen. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in the next one.